Hello, y'all. Welcome to StreamHorseTV. Konni Harrison is on a mission to make financial conversations feel good by educating us on how we can effectively and comfortably talk about money. And for all the equine business managers and horse owners out there, we're here to ask an important question. What will happen to your horse if something happens to you? If you don't know the answer to that question, listen up, as Konni is here to help. Konni, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Natalie, thank you so much for having me.
You have been doing this for a while, and you are in the business of helping people have the right conversations.
Yeah, so I help people feel comfortable with any financial conversation, whether it's with their family, with estate planning, whether it's talking to their financial professionals, because it's uncomfortable for people. And so I help them navigate those difficult conversations, whatever the case may be.
And you happen to be a horsewoman as well, a lifelong equestrian and horse enthusiast and horse lover and dog lover as well. So tell me a little bit about that and your experience.
Well, I started my riding career in the hunter jumper space. From there, I went into the thoroughbred racing industry. So it was interesting because I was exercising the racehorses in the morning. I was a gallop girl and doing investments in the afternoons. So it was quite an experience. Everybody used to laugh and say, "You're a professional wagerer." And I said, "I'm a professional bettor, stock market, horses," which was funny because I never bet the horses.
Whenever someone's thinking about their horse, whether it's a sport horse, an elite athlete horse, or a backyard pet horse, people need to think ahead, right?
Yes. I was in a situation where I had a stroke. You certainly can't plan for that. Luckily at the time I had almost everything together, but the key is to make sure that all of your information and all of the paperwork on who needs to find that information if something should happen to you is easily accessible. If your horse is insured, they're going to need that information. Where they are, all of the vet records, that kind of thing, who they contact if something happens to you and you can't take care of your horse. It's a big deal.
So everyone should think ahead, obviously. What is the first thing everyone should do?
Depending on where their horse resides, for lack of a better word, and because as horse owners and horse enthusiasts, you care what happens to them. And the idea of them not being taken care of is critical to your well-being. What you can do right now is to get organized, get those records together, make sure they're in a place where somebody can find them. So they can take the steps to make sure that your horse is taken care of, whether whether the unthinkable happens or whether you're laid up from an accident and can't get to them. That's the most important thing, so people know what to do.
And then secondly, you talked about thinking of the right fit for where your horse could go. What type of place would be the right place? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, when I had my stroke and I wasn't able to take care of them, luckily he was a rescue from the TRF, by the way. But he was at a facility where they did all of the heavy lifting. They did all the feeding, all of the turnout, made sure he was safe, that kind of thing. But there's instances where, if you want your horse to be taken care of in your will, for example, there are fabulous retirement facilities out there. There is programs and facilities that you can donate your horse to that do equine therapy. But get those things in order. Make those phone calls while you're thinking of it. Even though you don't want to do it, it's important. And it'll give you some peace of mind. But there are certainly options out there. And, the nonprofit organizations are so grateful when you can help them help other people.
Thirdly, what are the conversations? And this is an important one, right? So So, and this is something that you specialize in. We all need to be having conversations so that everybody knows the plan, right? So who are the people, the professionals that you advise everyone to have conversations with?
Certainly your veterinarians, to make sure that the records are kept up to date. And your trainers, you know, if your horse is in work now and what your best scenario is for them. If your horse is insured, you need to make sure that your insurance companies are on board with what you want with your horses there, because there's two different types of insurance. There's loss of use, and there's mortality insurance for these horses. So, and talk to the person that's going to be dealing with your stuff, right? Whether it's your husband, even if it's your parents or your children or a significant other in your life, you know, they're not going to want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff, but it's so, so important for peace of mind if something in fact does happen. And, you know, a little bit of primping here. The course that I teach is how to have those conversations. There's a mindset, there's a technique, and you need to bring empathy into those conversations as well. And the compassion and the understanding that, you know, that yes, it's an uncomfortable conversation, but you want to make sure that all of your bases are covered no matter what happens.
Konni has a course out there helping us all understand strategy for having these conversations. Konni, just quickly in closing, what would you say to someone who just doesn't know where to start with these conversations?
Well, it's scary. So I think the first step is to, you know, take a hard look at yourself. Why do you need to have these conversations? Who do you need to have these conversations with? It's important. But if you start, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you run a 1,000-mile race? One step at a time. So if you start slow, know that it doesn't have to all be done in 4 minutes. Then it's going to be a lot easier. And truly, if you have any questions, I am more than happy to help guide you through the initial stages of any of these processes to make it easier and more comfortable for you, your four-legged critters, and who's ever got to pick up the ball.
Yes, precisely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Don't forget to follow StreamHorseTV on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And click the article link in the show notes below for a special discount offer on Konni's course. 10% of Konni's course sales, everyone should know, will benefit the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, one of our dear friends and partners, which serves to give horses homes after their athletic careers are over. We will also be back with more from Konni soon about estate planning for your horses, your animals, and how to keep horse husbands in the know about your horse's futures. So keep watching this space. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Natalie.